I thought I would start with a poem. Can you hear me? You can hear me. With a poem that I wrote for one of my students who was learning how to write in English years ago, and it's called For Stephanie Lora, 3rd grade, who made me a card. And the only thing that I will say is that she wrote me a card at the end of the school year, and inside of the card was this word that's spelled Loisforeibari. So this is about trying to understand what that meant. Elephant on an orange line underneath a yellow circle, meaning sun. 6 green vertical lines with color all from the top, meaning flowers. The first time I peel back the 5 squares of Scotch tape, unfold the crooked creased fold of art class paper, I am in my living room. It is June. Inside of the card, there is one long word, and then Estefani's name. Lois Furry, Estefani Lora. Lois Furry? Lois Furry. The scientific Latinate way of saying hibiscus. Lois Furry. A direction as in, are you going north, south, east, west? Lois Furry? I try over and over to read the word out loud. Lois Furry. Lois Furry. Lois Furry. Lois Furry. What is this word? I imagine using it in sentences like, man, I have to go back to the house. I forgot my Lois Furry. Or, there's nothing better than rain, hot rain, open windows with music, and a tall glass of Lois Furry. Or, how are we getting to Pittsburgh? Should we drive or take the Lois Furry? I have lived 4 minutes with this word, not knowing what it means. It is the end of the year. I consider writing my student Estefani Lora a letter that goes, to the brilliant Estefani Lora. Hola, querida. I hope that you are well. I've just opened the card that you made me, and it is beautiful. I really love the way you filled the sky with birds. I believe that you are chula, chulita, and superfly. Yes, the card is beautiful. I only have one question for you. What does the word Lois Furry mean? I tried the word again. Lois Furry. I tried the word in Spanish. Lois Furry. And then slowly, lo is for everybody. Lo is for everybody. Love is for everybody. Love is for everybody. Love, everybody. Love, everybody. Love is love. Everybody. Everybody is love for everybody, for love is everybody, love is for everybody, love for body, body is love is body, everybody is love. Is every love? For every love is love. For love, everybody love for everybody, love is for everybody. I think what's so amazing about that is, I've said this before, that I think if I had known what she was saying right away, I would have been like, oh, how sweet, and moved forward, but there's something about having to work at the sentence. It's kind of like having to work at the poem, but it changed everything, the work of it. I think I'm gonna read some poems from Kingdom Animalia, and then I'll go into a couple new poems, and then come back to this. This is called Small Letter. Do not go this day, the red of bridges, my little, stay beside me over the ruins of San Francisco, Go, but do not go from me, my one, my love, my very kin, who I laughed with in our sleep every night, my dream, beside your dream, for a year. Wrecking ball, despedida, wreck the great rooms in my chest, and take my last song, but do not leave me on this earth, my one, without my one. How would the hand ever live if it knew it would never braid your hair again or hold your face? It would get up and walk away forever then. One by one, my breaths would go out looking, a procession of homeless dogs or clouds. Unliving. What to do with this knowledge that our living is not guaranteed? What could she do? What does one do when the mother's mouth is gone? When the mother closes her eye, the door, but shuts girl, this time, out. Girl wanted words, but there was only sadness for the big and dreadful death. What could she do but swallow loss? The black and tumbleweed of those nights became her home beside her sister. They mother each other still, like wolves, like any animal will do, does. Once she's found, she's been pushed or fallen out of the grave to live. They live. There is nothing left to do but live. This is a poem called Ode to the Little R, and it's, does anybody have an Ere in their name? No? I do. Right, so my name's Aracelis, Aracelis, and people, I can't tell you how many times people have corrected me and said, oh, you mean Aracelis. Like, oh, you mean Ara. So this is not for people who try to say and maybe can't roll their R's, but it's an ode to the letter R, the little R. People have said before that they feel nervous after hearing this poem to try to say my name, and please don't feel nervous. It's just hoping for the spirit of trying. So ode to the little R. Little propeller working between the two fields of my A's, making my name a small boat that leaves the port of Old San Juan or Ponce, with my grandfather Miguel on a boat or in an airplane with 100 or so others, leaving the island for work, cities, in winters that would break their bones, make old men out of all of them. Factory workers, domino players, little islands themselves who would eat and be eaten by Chicago, New York, the wars they fought without being able to vote for the president. Little propeller of their names, Francisco, Raimundo, Aracelis, Margarita, Hernan, Roberto, Reina. Little propeller of our names, delivering the cargo of blood to the streets of Holyoke, Brooklyn, New London, Ojai, where the teacher says, say your name sweetly, and the beautiful propeller working between the two fields of my A's, and the teacher saying, oh, you mean Aracelis, or Roberto, or Margarita, like the drink, and the R sounding like a balloon, deflating in the room, sad and sagging, I am hurt. It is as if I handed her all my familiar trees and flowers, every drawing of the family map, and boats and airplanes and cuatros and coquis, and she used her English to make an axe and tried to chop them down. But R, little propeller of my name, small and beautiful monster, changing shapes, you win. You fly around the room, little bee, upsetting the teacher and making all of class 310A laugh. You fly over the yard in our mouths as our bodies make airplanes over the grass. You, little propeller, are taking over the city. You are the sound of cars racing, the sound of bicycle spokes fitted with playing cards to make it sound like we are going fast. This is our ode to you, little R, little machine of our name, simple as a heart, just working, always there when we go to the grocery, there in the songs we sing in our sleep. This is called Portrait of the Woman as a Skein. I hardly ever read it, so I'm excited to read it here. And it starts with a quote, epigraph from Aaron Molitor, I lost my hands. Tell me, what on earth would make you leave your hands or want to at the wash sink, in the lemon grove, on the way home from standing baffled in the grocery? I have seen you walk into traffic like a bird with something else on your mind, as though wearing a hat or a medal from a war. Sometimes you leave yourself all over. Sometimes your mind and shoes, they fall behind you. Sometimes your body is a skein unraveling. Sometimes you carry your heart around like a jar of cats in heat or crying, I don't remember. Sometimes it is true you are a church of Catholic schoolgirls. You knew the hymns once, but forget how they go, so you stand mouthing hot potato in the pews. So far the men you love, or is it you, drop jugs of honey in the public streets on purpose or not on purpose. It is hard to say. Sometimes your body in winter is a dress the snow erases. Sometimes you are decimated. Sometimes still you remember you are capable of building houses. Sometimes it is true you are like Lake Sovetskaya, buried underneath an Arctic ice sheet. You think this might be safer, with everything and nothing ajar. Private, mysterious, perhaps, dear friend, landscape of potential bedazzlements gleaming like ice skate blades at the Mojave Desert Salvation Army. You are suitable and unsuitable. All the songs you know are from a different country. The fruits in your father's poems do not grow here. You have lost the turquoise jacket with your name magic markered inside. Your face is cold, your hands are cold. Sometimes you leave your hair at the bus station and get on the bus. Sometimes you leave your hair at the bus station and get on the bus, and as your face falls asleep against the window, you realize it is all your body now. Everything between you and the pieces you lost once. The towers and crows, the city, you gleaming in long, glorious hyphen beneath stars. Sometimes you are a broken barn. Sometimes you are the street and trees. Sometimes a spool of purple string. You are a colander sometimes, losing things. Sometimes what keeps you alive is a mystery. Last night, the dream of you standing in the doorway like a lighthouse calling for your hands to come back home. And from a great distance, then running towards you, 2 children or 2 dogs. What scared you then, you also called it beautiful. The way their breath flew out of them like clouds. The way they reached the dark yard panting and stood, deciding between the body and the woods. This is from an excerpt of a poem that engages it speaks about and to a whale that might be 500 years old. And this is a small excerpt. To the whale. When you surfaced off the coast of Massachusetts and held time, your eye at the gray eye of my friend, was she too, like every other thing with whom she shares a shape, the way I see the flies, the identical gaudiness of their green suits at the docks? Would you call us all identical? Our suits, like theirs, identical. Identical, our needs and moving. Is this the gift you paint us with in the dark system of your eyes and seeing? Indifference to us, our suits and countries, the flattening of all hierarchies and plans, our citizenry and stamps and beauty crossed. The lines we insist between things, all crossed in flat line by your mass, stanzaic through the underrealm. Your strange eye rendering us all each other. And what do you make of these words and their longings to move toward you, to touch you in small letter with the littleness of their hands? Other life, parallel, dear animal of my evolution, who am I convincing when I write to you, when I say we were like siblings, you and I, separated by many years and rooms? So I'll read two more poems. This is called Making You a House Upon My Leaving, in parentheses. Making you a house upon my leaving. Some murder, really, to build this house, though there are ferns and children, and someone golden whose hands make the bread you eat on Sundays, both of you handsome and alive. Some murder to extract my arm, extract my other arm from the body of this dream, to erase our laughing and the daffodil you placed in my skull's high rafter. What a funeral, this poem. Still, doesn't someone say love, flash, or ever is lucky? Lucky, lucky death, I say, to have touched your rose, to have known your bull's face in the morning, full of birds, even though I turn my back and call my leaving golden now. And I'll close with Kingdom Animalia. When I get the call about my brother, I'm on a stopped train leaving town, and the news packs into me, freight, though it's him on the other end now saying, fine, fine. Forfeit my eyes, I want to turn away from the hair on the floor of his house and how it got there Monday, but my one heart falls like a sad fat persimmon dropped by the hand of the Turkson's old tree. I want to sleep, I do not want to sleep, see. One day, not today, not now, we will be gone from this earth where we know the gladiolas. My brother, this noise, some love, you I loved with all my brain and breath will be gone. I've been told today to consider this as I ride the long tracks out and dream so good. I see a plant in the window of the house my brother shares with his love, their shoes. And there he is, asleep in bed, with this same woman whose long skin covers all of her bones in a city called Oakland, and their dreams hang above them, a little like a chandelier, and their teeth flash in the night. Oh, body. Oh, body, be held now by whom you love. Whole years will be spent underneath these impossible stars, when dirt's the only animal who will sleep with you and touch you with its mouth. Thank you.
I'm going to read a couple poems that are new and a couple from the book. Can you hear me? I don't have that great of a voice. Your pubes are everywhere. Your pubes are everywhere. When I sleep, they cover me like my mother's blankets cover me. When I eat, they stay in the gaps between my teeth. And I savor them like I savor dark meat, like I savor endless moments, like I savor the end of eternity, like I savor the bush meat of my bush, which is the bush from whence we were conceived. Little animals who arrive sawn pubes, little beasts who cannot wait to trim the pubes they do not yet have, little pubes that cannot wait to live their dead life. I cannot wait to be reborn a pube. I cannot wait to be a stray pube sprouting from your perfect, hairless asshole, the rosebud that was invaded by a single pube. Me, who loves your pubes as much or a little less than I love you. I mean as much or a little more than you. I mean to tell you I love you, to tell you your pubes are everywhere, to tell you your pubes must live where I live, to tell you your pubes must know as much as I know, to tell you your pubes must feel sad when I feel sad, to tell you your pubes must spread and multiply when the world is no more, when you are no more, when I am no more, when it is a matter of life or death that your pubes go on, and I won't be there to appreciate the art left behind by the dead. Whatever it was they wanted to communicate to the next world is left to the hands of those appointed to decipher the past. I am not those. I am not going to decipher anything. I just want to float on the dried up seas. I just want to floss my teeth. I just want to attach curlies to my eyes and bat an eyeful of pubes at the next beautiful man I see. This is called If No One Is Looking at Me, I Won't Bother to Read Kafka. Don't worry, none of these poems are autobiographical. I love Kafka. It's just seemed very smart. The book in my hands is Betty and Veronica, Archie and Pals, a smut novel about a monkey who jams his cock inside a woman who is an identical twin who fucks her own twin in front of their brother, who jerks off into a cup his mother drinks in the morning, who pisses on their dog, who knots his wiener into a hard-on, who gives blowjobs to their ponies, who I ride into the evenings of my dreams. You are usually there, and the star-speckled sky is usually just the hand of my mother extending over the celestial boom of boom booms, the Brazilian ass, the pussy, pussy, the Hungarian kiss, the hungering stare, the limber lumbering of all the clunkers, like the time you wore a dress to show me how at ease you were with my femininity, and the staple tampon with dried blood clots was indeed nice to touch when your face was rounder, and there was love all around. Does anyone know anything about fucking a dog? When I got AOL dial-up in the 90s, I got really into reading erotic fiction about bestiality, and I learned that, I don't know, if a dog is about to orgasm, his penis knots up. But I thought it was the way you make balloon animals, It's not like that. It's a metaphor. I'm not. But I know I didn't make this place a safe space for you to speak your mind, so I'm not going to ask anyone if they can confirm it. This is called "The Universal Energy is About to Intervene in Your Life." I am pure emotion, and you must pour me into something pure. I shall take what I want, including the faces of pretty women. This way, the standards for beauty will be instantly changed. This way, the standards for faces will want new standards. The nerves in each face will stand on innards. Inside me is every pregnant belly, and all the aborted children play in the same playground. They don't care that they were aborted. They don't care that the stars were not created for them. They don't care that they had selfish mothers who would have been transformed if only they had not aborted their children. Though now the world is perfectly populated, each time the future is predicted, someone dies for no reason. This is how I became a ghoul. This is how I became a ga. This is how I became a ga. This is how I became a gash. Drinking the goo-goo water because of goo-goo, I decide that no one lives for anyone else. I will live for me. I will die thanks to unconditional love. I want to ask my mother why she loved me. I want to ask her to ask her mother why she loved her. I want her mother to ask her mother why she loved her. There are too many centuries of mothers loving their mothers, and I will be the first one to love myself more than I love my mother. I will be the first one to think only about myself. My belly is flat because I forgot to have babies. I said if I live to 99, I'm gonna eat mercury, but then I ate it when I was 9, and I lived one more year, and then I ate mercury again, and I lived one more year, and then I ate mercury again, and my children swam out of my cunt lips like fish, and I had the doctor sew me up, so food had to enter the same way it came out. I lived like this for centuries. They said I could go on, and I said, do I look like I would stop? They said, stop. I said, what? They said, stop. I said, what? Is this what someone told me was mortality in a nutshell? And I didn't want to believe it, but what else did I have to believe? What else is there for us? Those of us who cannot breathe, those of us who cannot have babies, we want to mean something to the world. We want to be told, stay, you are needed, and we are needed. Someone needs us. They called for us to live this way, and so I did, and so I did, and so I did. Do you guys know that Wu-Tang Clan album, Enter the 36 Chambers? It's like such a dumb question. It's like, you guys have taste. But you know that interlude when Method Man is like, they're like all like bragging about how they're gonna torture each other, and Method Man is like, he's like, I'ma sew up your asshole shut, and I'ma feed you, and feed you, and feed you, and feed you. It's like, oh God. It's bad. What happened, like, if that were done? If someone knows, you should go to jail. Okay, so this is called "The Last 5 Centuries Were Uneventful," and I want to take this out, but it's stuck in my hair, so it's just going to be here. The stitches that melted from my ripped open cunt tasted like mint and changed color when I peed. I peed with the door open because this is bounty. The universe has a fat lip. We put every cock from China inside it and splash in the slippery oriental jizz. You feel like seppukuing because your butthole is unretractable. You feel like seppukuing because your butthole is too determined. You feel like seppukuing because one time a man was rejected by a woman. She said, "You're creepy." And he got a gun and wrote a manifesto against Bikram yoga, against women with great bodies, against women who want to have babies with other men, against women who want to have babies with men who are not allowed to be part of their lives after they have the baby, against women who know they are good-looking, against women who have died for knowing they are good-looking, against women who have loved women and mocked men for jerking off to the idea of a woman touching a woman. I have jerked off to the idea of a man jerking off to the idea of a woman touching a woman. And that idea bought a samurai sword from eBay and seppuku'd. I wanted to have a baby. I wanted to carry my baby to term. I wanted to have milk oozing from my tits. I wanted to have bigger tits than the tits I have now. I wanted to drink my own milk and breastfeed myself. I wanted to breastfeed my mother and tell her I love her. I wanted to miscarry a baby by falling down the stairs. I wanted to toast to my own miscarriage with breast milk from my tits. I wanted to have bigger tits without having a baby. I wanted to tell you I'm the reason why the world is going to hell. I wanted to give you the hell you said I was capable of creating. No one really cares, but you do, and I do. We take the relics of entire countries and trash them in the sea. When we die for the past, we find unearthed thoughts. The fertility of what you think could one day be is just the honest desire to be remembered after you're dead. So much that you focus on how to be great. So much that you focus on how to be new. So much that you focus on how to forget your father, so much that you forget to love your mother, so much that you forget to love your children, so much that you forget to love your pets, so much that you would forsake the barren, God-forsaken, twice-farted sea, which gave rise to the queen and her queenly farts and her princely kingdom, where she once told you and I and our children to fear everything, and we did, and we lived like that. And we still live like that, and we still know nothing, hiding our big dreams in the invisible centers of roses, where we feel big and round and ready and ready and ready and ready and ready and ready. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I had this dream that my mom came to this reading, and she's been telling me for the past 3 years that if I don't get married and have children, then my life on earth will have been a waste. Which is like, I don't know, who cares, but also, I don't know. So I wanted her, I had this fantasy of her being here, and being like, oh, my daughter is into fertility. And I thought maybe that would give me a couple more years to show her that my life on earth was worthwhile. This is called You Go Away for a Month and Come Back a Gadabout. Me, I stay a cynic, later becoming a stoic. Later my friends point out I'm neither. You're a Zen Buddhist, they say, and your skin has the texture of rice. Oh, right. My name is the sound of 3 pots clanging against a tin garbage can. My family is related to Lao Tzu. My mother taught me filial piety. My cunt grows sideways. When a man wants to fuck, he gets at a right angle. Ay-ya, ay-yi, ay-yi, ay-ya, 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 ay-ya. And it's over. I did have a friend who asked me once if Asian women had sideways vaginas. You know, and I was like, well, you're not finding out from me. But, I mean, he probably figured it out at some point. Come farts. I show you my virtue when I come farting, and fiscal responsibility has the same verdure as some ventures. You play like a donkey with 6 legs, each leg clasped to a tree, and we drag a forest through the forest. Finally, you are farting. Compare the time I shat my pants at the library because I could not be bothered to stop reading. I was wet from the non-solids I excreted. I was wet from the rain that followed me into caves. I was wet because I was wet. I was wet and you asked to touch it. I was wet and you didn't notice it on your leg. I was wet and you sat on fine china. I was wet and I was born in China. I was wet and a horse kicked me in the face. I was wet and in my dreams I was wet. I was wet and asked a stranger to jerk off onto my face. I was wet and I hurt my back trying to reach. I was wet and I farted dead sperm from a butthole that doesn't want to poop. Except in libraries, except in bus shelters, except on my neighbor's lawn, except in rooms where everyone is standing, except in underwater with my grandmother whose nipples I found when rubbing her stomach. You must know everything. I comfort in secret and feel truly as if I do. Did people here read Sweet Valley High and Babysitter's Club? You know, those were the books that made me want to be a writer. I was so taken by them. I would go to the library and I would just stand in front of the shelves where they had Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High, and I would just read them. I didn't want to even sit down and take the 2 seconds it would have taken to walk over to a chair. I wanted to just read and read and read. And at some point, I did decide that it was worth it to shit myself and save the 3 minutes it would have taken to crap in a toilet and just, you know, I would do it again, but I have spent 2 decades of my life training my sphincter muscles to do what they're supposed to do. So I don't do that anymore, but I would if I felt freer. I would read forever and not drink or eat. Okay. This is called seppuku. Because Dad forgot the good cereal, I choose to seppuku. In the morning, I seppuku to avoid washing my face. In the afternoon, I seppuku to avoid conversation. I seppuku'd before bed to feel stuff. I felt so much stuff I had to seppuku. I felt so good seppukuing. To slay all stereotypes, I seppuku'd in front of racists who were like, oh my God, this chick. And my dead, seppuku'd body was like, I died for racism. I died for white supremacy. I died for yellow peril. I seppuku'd 3 times, and each time was more amazing than the last. I actually want to seppuku an entire country and encourage the galaxy to self-seppuku to prove the necessity of repetition, that we must keep saying seppuku and keep seppukuing if we are to survive, if we are to be the animals we were before we were these exact beings we are now and will always be. I'm just gonna read a couple more. So my book is from these emails that my mom would send me. The title of my book is from these emails my mom would send me when I lived in California and she lived in New York. She moved to America when she was like 32, and she didn't know any English beforehand. So she learned everything when she was in her early 30s. And her English is pretty good. It's not perfect. She makes little mistakes all the time. Like, she used to email me and she would say, "Dear Jenny, we are all fine. How are you?" And when I started sending her my writing for the first time, she was really excited. She'd call me and she told me, "Your writing is so touchable. Thank you for writing like that." And I didn't correct her because I didn't want her to touch my writing. I wanted her to hold it in her hands. And of course, when she got my book, she was just like, I don't know about your publisher, there's a typo on the cover. It's not professional. So I don't really know what she knows and what she doesn't. She did email me today and she said, keep warm of you. It's cold today. My mother leaves me a message where she pronounces all Romance languages in a deep voice. We're all fine, she says, bonjour, well, because, well, she is Chinese, and anyway, we don't use R's. To think that I will never fall in love is to be the me I was when I thought I would never fall in love, but I am now this other me, in love and not too scared. I regret the heart we were captured in, and there I was not a nice person, and there I was a forgetful person, and there I required to know everyone before anyone can know me. And there, no one knew me. And there, I was so alone, I might as well have been out there, which is where I am. Out here, and the deepness of my mother's thoughts so weighty and impressive, I nearly faint from the love I was nearly capable of. This last poem is called My Baby First Birthday. And the first part of it is in Chinese. It's this thing my mom wrote on Facebook about her Mercedes-Benz that she gave away to this young couple. It was like the first car my family got when we were legit upwardly mobile. And I'll translate it for you. 你陪伴了我走过了16年，风风雨雨。你见证了我家儿女成长岁月，你和我一起住在了美丽的海边16年。今天我流着眼泪和你道别。你居然是一对初来美国有爱情的年轻夫妇，他们承诺我会和我一样，一如既往的好好待你。到今日我才猛然发现，原来我对你竟然有那么的深的感情和不舍。再见了，我心爱的宝贝，小黑奔，你留在了我生命里，我会永远的记得你。Now I will translate the poem. Say something, say something, say something. If you see something, say something. Each one, teach one, H1, N1. Because of avian flu, my stupid cunt cousin could not get an education on your stupid cunt shores, or my mother sold her house to give me a stupid cunt education. I learned about social entrepreneurship, that it is a good thing to give pencils to mothers who are incarcerated. They can take that pencil and break it in their stupid cunts. I bail out every one of those cunts for 10 grand a pop. They run rampant like you fucking know what it's like. My detachable pussy is not afraid of being approached by a man late at night who is like, hey girl, you don't need none of that. You look good without makeup. I feel very sexy because my cunt gets leashed to a tree and waves hello to everyone like hi, like hi, like hi, 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 hi. Each one teach one. I teach each one to have one more, so in case this cunt dies, I have another. In case this man marries me, I can still fuck. I can still go to jail for fucking. I can still go to jail for not fucking. I can still go to jail for having everything. I can still go to jail and have it all and have nothing and wake up to my detached body intact. In this way, you are never alone. In this way, you are never translated. I said to stop if you speak Chinese, but it's worse to be visible than it is to be invisible. You see me and then tell my friend she looks exactly like me. You see me and then tell my friend she looks exactly like me. Well, she looks exactly like me because she is me. And I'm also me. And I'm visible, you cunt. I'm miserable, you hero. I'm miserable and I speak perfect English. On the phone, you agree. In person, you ask me where I'm from originally. I I seppuku on the spot, and you are like, okay, stop. And I'm like, okay, I stopped. And like, there's no more. And like, there's just that now. And like, I'm totally fine. And like, I'm gonna do it again. And like, your poetry gives me a motherly halo. And like, I'm gonna have babies and get someone else to look after them. And like, I'm dead, but you won't stop until my cunt reattaches itself to my body. And that's when I will cease to go outside. And that's when I will cease to fear anything. And that's when you walk like a hero and I praise you in front of my family, the only ones who know me. And I don't have time for less thoughts, more slowly, more meaning, less quickly. I'm running to catch the bus. My cunt makes it, duh, of course. But me, I am out of breath, lying on a map, and the city where I was born disappears mysteriously. Like anyway, I know who did it. I will praise him in front of his family who have never seen him chase after a bus full of cunts, like I have, who will never know him like I do, like I know, like I know, like I know.